Wait, Akul, do you want to drop the link to the form in the chat?
No, you're gonna have to do that unless you want me to like send it to you and then you can drop it because I'm on my iPad. So.
Alright, it's the same form every time, right?
Yeah, it's the same form if you haven't filled out it out once. But yeah, so if you want so now today you're gonna have to just go through the Google Sheet and just like mark everyone present that's here.
Gotcha.
Cool. Did you not get that yesterday? The attendance?
Yeah. You guys did that yesterday from what I saw. So I'm just saying for those that haven't filled it out, just let us know so that then we can send that to you guys to fill out.
Okay. Is Sonic coming today or no? She said
She's here now.
Okay, cool. Is this it, right? 1, 2. You can wait a couple more minutes.
Also, while you guys are waiting with the show of hands, can you guys like raise your hand if you have Autodesk installed fully? Okay, sweet.
Actually, can we do this? Raise your hand if you don't have Autodesk installed right now. So Sanjin and Vivon, you guys don't have Autodesk installed right now? Or okay. So everyone has Autodesk installed then. Okay.
Manav, I think you joined a little late. We just asked if you have Autodesk installed.
I do.
You do? Okay, cool. The two that don't, try to figure it out right now, or you guys can stay back at the end of the class so we can help you guys through it. Yeah, I think this is everyone, right? Chris, you take
So I think our plan was start today off with having Kush give us all a review of the stuff that Drew went over yesterday. So Kush, do you want to go ahead and share your screen and get us started?
Sure. Alright, can you guys see that? Yes,
Yeah.
no? Alright, cool. Wait, Sonnet, do you just want me to go like build a snowman again?
Just do whatever you think is best. Just go over beyond just building a snowman again. Just show the tools that Drew showed yesterday, you know?
Okay, cool.
Just like the 4 main ones in the
Okay, yeah. So you want to start off by pressing part if you didn't see me do that already. And once you press part, you want to press start 2D sketch. So this is what you're going to making, I guess your two-dimensional shapes and all that on. So click that button, and then you'll see 3 different planes. For our purpose, we'll just use the XY plane, which is this one. So click on that. I think my computer's lagging a bit. All right, there we go. So you guys see that, right? All right. So I guess I'll just go over line, circle, arc, rectangle, and maybe go over a few of the constraints. So first of all, in Autodesk, if you want to zoom in and out, you use this wheel on your mouse. So everybody should be having a mouse, or else it'll be really difficult to use Autodesk. And also if you want to move around, like side to side, you press the wheel down and then move your mouse. All right, so let's see. First, let's start with a line. So press line. And then we can maybe make a line like this. And you'll see there's 2 different dimensions that this type of line will take. One is the length, which let's make it 4 inches. So press 4, then press tab. And then the angle. So let's do the 30 degrees. Press tab. All right, so then exit and you'll see, and then press escape if you don't want to use the line tool anymore. So as you can see over here, you see two different dimensions, 4 inches for the length and 30 degrees for the angle. This line over here is black, which means that it's fully constrained. I don't know if you can see that at the bottom right, it says it's fully constrained. And if it's not fully constrained, then the thing will appear purple. Let's do a circle. So let's start at the origin. And this takes only one dimension. Let's just set it to, I don't know, 8. And you'll see the circle is also black, which means it's also fully constrained. Let's do an arc. For the arc, make sure to press center point arc, not the 3-point arc. We'll do center point. So pick your center point first. Let's do the origin. By the way, the origin will always have a point automatically on it. So you want to be sure not to delete that, or else it'll be really difficult to, I guess, put points at the center. So let's see, let's put one parameter as, I don't know, 5. Press tab, so 5 inches. And then the angle you want to start at. So let's start at maybe, I don't know, 45 degrees. Press tab, click away, oops, click away. And then you want to see how much more you want to go. So let's say I want to go, I don't know, start at 45, let's go 90 degrees more. Press tab, then exit. So you'll see over here that you have an arc. It starts at 45 degrees, ends up at 135 degrees, and from the origin or the center, it's 5 inches away. All right, so that's an arc. Also make sure to press escape every time you're done using the tool. Rectangle, let's try to do a 2-point center rectangle, so this one. Also let me know if I'm going too quick for you guys to follow, if you want me to do something again. So press that, and for this type of...
Yeah. Could you hold on 1 second? For all the veterans that already know all this stuff, go to the second Zoom link that's in the design on the Smart Sheets page, so that I can talk to you guys over there.
All right, cool. So this type of rectangle takes 2 different, I guess, inputs. One is going to be your center point, which I'll do as the origin, and then actually take 3. And then you want to figure out the length and width of your rectangle. So let's go, I don't know, 8, press tab, and I don't know, 10, press tab. Right, so that's your rectangle. Click away, and once again, your rectangle should be black, which means that it's fully constrained. Press escape. Let's see. Sonic, Drew, do you guys just want me to like show some of the constraints now, or?
Yeah, I think, hold on, so you covered everything before, right? Let's go to questions now, because does anyone, like, make sure that everything we covered so far is, like, understandable. Does anyone have any questions of everything we covered so far?
I can also...
Snowman, or you can also do like a separate demo, or will you draw something else?
Okay. Oh, okay. Wait, so you're telling me to draw something else?
Yeah, you can draw something a little bit more complicated.
Okay. Okay, that's fine. All right, so if you guys all understand this, we can move on. So, okay, so if I want to delete something from this, there's 2 different types of ways you can do that. One is starting at the top left and pulling down. That makes a red box. And the second way to do that is go from the bottom right and pull up, right? And that's a green box. So when you do the, I don't know, let's see, when you do the red box, that means the thing you want to delete has to be entirely inside the red box in order for it to delete. For example, if I do this, only the arc that I made is entirely inside that, so that'll get selected, and if I press delete, it goes away. It seems like the top of the rectangle is also entirely part of that. And then if I want to go from the bottom right and pull up, then everything that touches that, I guess, rectangle or that box will get deleted. So if I do this, then all of this gets selected and I can press delete, right? And then same thing here, I can do this, delete. So everything's gone, right? Okay, Sana, why don't I just try to add like maybe like a face to the snowman and maybe go over that in a little more detail.
Yeah, sure. What do you think?
Okay, cool. So we'll start off by making a snowman again. We'll see if we can add maybe some sort of face using the tools that we just learned. Also another thing before I go on is that if you don't set your dimensions at the beginning like this, let's say I just do that, then it'll appear purple, right? And the way you make it, you know, from purple to black is you fully constrain it. And the way you do that is using the dimension tool. So you want to click on the dimension tool, you know, press I guess the circle, and then you'll see it's 9.077 inches, and you want to change that to, I don't know, 8, right? Press enter, and now, let's see, I guess you want to, I don't know, I guess you want to give it a point as well for where it's centered. So let's see. I don't know. Why is this not constrained? Okay, let me redo this. Say I start this just over here and I don't give it a dimension. So let's say I do that. And then I press dimension and I click on this. And then let's say I want to change it to, I don't know, 40. Press enter. Yeah, and it's black, right? So every time you don't give all the dimensions you need, it'll appear purple. And if you want to change it to black to make it fully constrained, you have to click on the dimension tool. Okay, so now that that's over, let's try to make a snow. Actually, you know what? We can keep this. So let's say this is 40. Let's make another circle. I don't know, like this. Let's make it 30. Let's make another circle, I don't know, 20. Right. And so now what I want to do is put these 3 circles on top of each other. And so the first step to do that, press escape. First step to do that is to use the vertical, use this tool, the vertical constraint tool. So you want to press that. And let's say press the center of this circle, the 30 circle, and the center of the 40 inches circle, and then you'll still be aligned to vertically on the y-axis. You want to do the same thing with the 20-inch circle, so press the center of that and the center of the 40-inch circle, and you see how that's all vertically constrained, right? Then you want to escape or like unpress that, and then you want to make sure that all 3 of these circles are tangent to one another, right? So let's see, let's do tangent. So let's press tangent, and now we want to, let's see, press this. This is a 30-inch circle and the 40-inch circle, and you'll see that they're on top of each other now. Notice also that both of them are black, which means they're both constrained. Then let's do the same thing between this circle. Press the circle, like press the outer part, and then press the outer part of this, and both of them are tangent now. So as you see, all of them are black, which means all of them are constrained. At the end of the day, just like Dhruv mentioned yesterday, you want to make sure everything is black. Okay, okay, so now let's try to add a face. So let me escape this. Okay, so let's see, what do I want to do? Let's try to add 2 eyes. So let's put a circle here. Let's make it, I don't know, 6. And let's do another eye over here. Let's make that 6. All right, okay, so now we have these 2 eyes. Now, I guess what do we want to do with the eyes? Also make sure to press escape after you're done using the tool. I guess we have to both make, I guess symmetric to, I guess the center. So what I'll do is create something called a construction line. And a construction line is something that's not part of the actual sketch, but it can be used to kind of, I guess, reference other shapes onto that line. So I'll show you what I mean. So first, let me just create a line. Let's say it goes from the center to the center, the origin. All right, and then press escape. All right, so you'll see this line is already black, which means it's fully constrained. And what you want to do is hold shift and then press this line. And then you want to press this over here. So this says construction. You want to press that. And if you press that, the line should become dotted. So that means that a line is not going to be part of the actual sketch, and it's just going to be used to kind of reference. So let's see, what do we want to do here? So now we have, I guess, both of these circles, and let's make them both symmetric to this line that we did over here. So we'll use another constraint tool called symmetry. Let's see, press the centers of these 2, and then press this line. So press the constraint line. So this is the line you want to, I guess, have. This is your axis of symmetry. So press that. Okay, yeah, cool. So now both of them, I guess, are symmetric about the center line. And now, I guess, what do we want to do? Let's make sure the eyes are inside the actual head. So the way we do that, first make sure to press escape. And then we can use the dimension tool. So again, these are purple. These are not fully constrained, so we can still edit the dimensions between them. So let's click the center of this circle.
Wait, Krish.
Yeah.
Before you like dimension them, like click escape.
Wait, what?
Click escape. Like before you dimension them, I'm going to show them something.
Okay.
Like drag the center of a circle like outwards, like just one circle. Yeah. So you guys see how like when he drags one of the circles outward, the other one moves too. So no matter what he does, like the 2 circles will be like symmetric. So that's what that symmetric constraint he used does. It just didn't move there because it was already pretty well placed. but if he changes the location of one of the circles, the other one will change. Okay.
Yeah. All right, cool. So let's move this back, I guess, to the center, and let's actually set a dimension between both of these, the centers of both of these circles. So we press dimension, and then let's press the center of one, and then the center of the other. And right now it says it's 8.640. I don't know, let's change that to, I don't know, 7.5. So now both of these circles are a certain distance from each other, right? And so now, I guess this is still purple because both of them can move up and down. Yeah, both of them can move up and down, so I still have to constrain it there. For now, let's just keep that like that, and let's move on to, I don't know, like a nose. So let's use a rectangle. Make sure to press 2-point center on the rectangle. And let's see, what do we want? Let's have our center like at the center of the face. So right here, the green dot, press that, and then we can make our nose. Let's see, how do we want to do this? We can do like 4 and 2. So press 4, press tab, then press 2, and press enter. Right, so you'll see this nose is already, I guess this rectangle is already black, which means this one's already fully constrained. All right, and then let's see, press escape so you don't make another rectangle. And then let's use the arc tool to make like a smiley face, I guess. So for the arc, I guess make sure to press center point arc once again. And then we'll also have our center, I guess, at the center of this circle. And then let's see, how do we want to do this? Let's just do like 8 inches for the radius. Press tab. And then, okay, let's start this one at 0 degrees. Press tab. And then I guess we want this to go all the way to 180. Why not? So 180 and press tab. All right, there we go. So as you can see over here, the arc is already black, which means that it's already fully constrained. All right, so I guess the last thing we can do for this smiley face is, I guess, constrain both of the eyes. So I guess one of the ways we can do that is like, okay, so one of the ways we can do that is create like a construction line between these two eyes, like that. So press line and start from the center of the left eye, go to the center of the right eye, and just select that and then press escape. And so this line over here, what you want to do is maybe take the dimension tool and then press the center of this line and take it, oh shoot, what did I press? Let's see. Do you guys know I can press the center of this line?
What's up? What do you want to do?
Basically what I want to do is like constrain this eye, these two eyes, which are both symmetric to each other.
Okay. Didn't you already hit the symmetric constraint?
Yeah, but it's not fully constrained yet, it's purple.
Okay,
that's because it can move up and down, like, you know, it can move up and down.
Oh, okay. So what do you want to do?
Oh, maybe just like constrain it somewhere, put it somewhere.
Okay, so what you can do is, you see that center, that dot at the center of the circle,
Okay.
the black circle?
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah. Make it coincident with the line.
That line, okay, yeah. That's you. All right, so go ahead.
Use a construction line. This is a good like place to show them how to use construction lines too, if you want to do that.
Okay, yeah. So you guys see the line I made between this left circle and this right circle? You also want to make that a construction line since you don't want this line to be part of the actual sketch. So let me just zoom in a bit so you guys can see. What you want to do is press, like, hold shift and then press this line. And then you want to press this button over here, which says construction. So if you do that, okay, it did not work.
Just select it and click the constraint. Yeah.
Wait, what? It still didn't work.
Click the constraint first.
Straight.
Wait, are you selecting the line or the dimension?
Oh, wait. I'm pretty sure I'm selecting the line.
Okay, so click escape first. Click the constraint, like on the red thing at the top.
Right,
and now click line.
Wait, constrainer or construction?
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, construction, that's good. I think you might be selecting the dimension. Yeah. So try moving the dimension out, by the way. So grab that 6 and push it up. Yeah. Just like move the dimension away.
Wait, what? Okay, hold on.
Okay.
Stop moving.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. Let me do this. Let me try to like undo what I just did right now. So
Okay.
sometimes you might want to undo what you guys are doing. So again, to do that, maybe make the bottom right thing. So I'll select this dimension and press delete. All right, let me try this again. All right, so line, center of this to center of this. Press escape, and then hold shift, press this line, and then press construction. Okay, yeah, there we go. So you see this is a dotted line now, which means it won't show up in the actual sketch. All right.
Also define that left circle. It's not like it does, the 6 inches is gone.
Like define like the line.
The left one.
The left one, what?
The left circle. The diameter is not defined.
Oh, okay. Got you. Okay, yeah. So sometimes I accidentally deleted the dimension for this.
Okay.
So yeah, press dimension, press the circle, and I guess make it 6. All right. Okay, yeah, so now we have a construction line, and let's move it a certain distance. So let's move this line, which is connected to these 2 circles, a certain distance away from the center. So you can press dimension, which I already have selected, press the line, and then press the center. So you'll see, I guess, this dimension that pops out, and you want to just edit that to, I don't know, let's do, I don't know, let's do 5. There we go. Okay, so yeah, now both of these circles are black and everything is fully constrained. So if we were to zoom out, I'm not gonna lie, the snowman probably looks a bit ugly. But once we start making everything 3D, I guess once we do extrusions and all that, it'll start to look a bit better, especially when you can change the materials.
Yeah, Kush, you can honestly take it farther and just show them how to add like buttons to the body and arms and a hat, because it's just more line practice. Because you guys should definitely be making sure to pay attention, because you guys will be drawing something for homework that's comparable to this in difficulty. So when Kush is like going over steps that seem redundant, it's just giving you more practice in preparation for homework. So.
Right. Okay. So press escape, exit the dimension tool. Yeah, okay. So first, I guess, let me add a button to this snowman. So press circle, and maybe just add like a random button here. Actually, you know what? Okay, actually, let me not do that. Let me just make the button here, and then we can vertically constrain it. All right. Let's give this a dimension of, I don't know, 5. 5 inches. That. And then we can move this button, or we can vertically constrain this button to the center. So unclick dimension, press escape, and press vertical constraint. And press the center of this circle to, I guess, here. All right, there we go. So now, I guess we can move this. Okay, so let me press escape and then move this down. Yeah. Move this over here. All right, so instead of continuously making more and more buttons, we can like use a tool to, I guess, make multiple in a row. Do you guys remember which one that was called? Pattern.
Yeah, I'll be going over patterns more in depth, so you guys can just sort of like watch Kush for a preview today. But I'll be going over the rectangular pattern more in depth for those of you guys who might not be able to, you know.
So do you want me to go over it now?
You can just go over it now if you want. Yeah, and I'll just review it.
What are we doing after this then?
After this,
Yeah.
I'll be going over presentation, and then I'll be going over some of the more complicated sketch things.
Okay, got it. All right, cool. All right, so we can use a rectangular pattern to add like multiple in a row. So let's see. You want to press this circle and press direction. Let's see. All right, there we go. So once you press that button, it'll show a direction, which is down. So you don't want the buttons to go up, you want it to go down. And then we can choose how many we want. So let's see. I guess you can use a bit of guessing here, how many will fit. I'm gonna guess that like maybe 4 will fit. So I'll do that. And you can choose how far you want them apart. So obviously 1 inch, I don't know if you guys can see this, but it shows kind of like a gray outline of where the buttons will be. Obviously 1 inch is not good enough. Let's make this 6.5. Yeah, I guess that looks good. And then press OK. So now these buttons are all, I guess, in a rectangular array, I guess on the body. And so that's one of the ways you can use, I guess, the pattern tool to add more and more instead of, creating multiple and then just, putting them in the center. You can just use that tool. Okay, I don't know what else I can do. Let's add a hat to the snowman. Why not? Let's see. Use the rectangular. Let's use 2-point center. Okay. Let's make this the same diameter as the top one. So let's do 20. So press 20, tab, and then I don't know, 10. Okay, yeah, there we go. Oh shoot, I constrained this, didn't I? Okay. Let me undo that. So let's just make a random, like over here, press 20, tab, 10, tab. All right. And now this is purple, so we can still move it around if I press escape. Right. So what we want to do is vertically constrain it to the center and then make them tangent to this, I guess, head. So the way I'll do that, it's the same thing. Vertical constraint, press the center, and I guess press the center of this, and then escape. The tangent tool, press this and this. Ah, there we go. Okay, so that's the hat. I guess we can have like, I don't know, a narrow top. So we can add one more rectangle. Let's do that. Let's make this 10, tab, 20, enter. All right, and then let's see. Press escape, vertical constraint, press the center, and then, I don't know, like center this. There we go. That was actually probably a bad idea. That's fine. Press escape. Okay. Okay, we can move this up and down. So that's good. And then I suppose you want to make this tangent to this face as well. So you can press tangent tool, press this side, this side, this side, and this side. I wonder why it's not working. I wonder if this works. Okay, yeah, there we go. So let me undo that. All right, so another tool you can use is the coincidence tool, coincident constraint. So that'll just like put two faces together, or 2 points in a line together. So you want to press that, press this face, and then press this point over here, and it'll, I guess, go on top of each other. And I guess I added a hat. What else? I don't know. Maybe we can add like a little bit more detail, I guess. So one of the tools you can use is offset. And let's say you want like another circle to go inside of this circle and make it a little bit smaller. Then you can press the offset tool, press the circle, and then you can choose it how much to offset by. So if you put it right on top of it, then it's going to offset by 0 inches. But if you don't, it'll offset by a certain amount. So let's do, I don't know, 5. Press enter. So that's fully constrained as well. What else can I do? Sonnet, you don't want me to go into like 3D and all that, right?
Yeah, I think we're saving that for tomorrow.
Okay.
If you want to add arms, you can add arms. Otherwise, you can just call it a day.
Sure, let's add arms. So let's press the line tool again. Make sure to escape everything else. And then I guess pick a point on the body and like, I don't know, extend it out. So let's, oh shoot, I didn't do it. Yeah, okay. Let's see, I want it to be escape. All right, so let's use dimension tool. Okay, let's see, I want, okay, that's not the dimension I want. Okay, yeah, this dimension. So sometimes you have to press the dimension tool a few different times to get the exact length you want, because sometimes you'll get, I don't know if you guys have done trig yet, but sometimes you'll get like the vertical component the horizontal component or like the actual length of the line. So you want to make sure you're editing the actual length. And let's make this, I don't know, 30. Press enter. All right, and then another dimension you can do is the angle, I guess, between. Oops, didn't mean to do that. So press escape, dimension. Let's do the angle between this. Escape. Do you guys know why the angle thing is not working?
What are you trying to angle?
The angle between this line and this point. So like.
Yeah, you can't angle between a line and a point. You can only angle between stuff like two lines.
Okay. Okay, so in that case, I think we just had to like set the angle before I, press enter. So sometimes this happens, so you can like just do this, delete.
You could also have just like put a construction line as horizontal and then done relative to that.
Okay, sure. Okay. So let's press the line tool again. Let's go, I guess, 90 degrees. So I don't know. We can make this however long we want. Let's make it 5. And let's go 90. So this is going to be, I guess, a reference. So you can move this line right here. Actually, you know what? We can press the tangent tool. So press this, and then right over here, and make it tangent. Sonic, do you know why this is not working? Tangent.
You're trying. I think the lines might have to be touching.
Yeah, like touching right at this point.
Yeah.
Do you know how? Because if I press tangent, it just, it doesn't work.
So
I could just extend this line. Hold on. Okay, it already exists. Okay, let me redo that.
No, you don't have to delete it. You can just double click the original dimension.
Oh, okay, nice.
Yeah.
Let's just make this 20.
And then yeah, do you want to show them how to change metrics, like change measurement systems?
I personally don't know how to do that.
Okay. Yeah, guys. So in the like edit dimension, can you double click that for a sec? Like any of the measurements for dimensions, like 50 or 30, that works.
Yeah.
You guys see how it says 30 inches? You can change like the inches part to say centimeters or something like that. Something else really cool about the dimension is you can actually use it to do like simple math. So instead of typing 15, you could do 30 divided by 2 centimeters and it'll autocorrect to whatever you want. Or like 30 divided by 2 meters or something. And then if you click enter, it'll be 15. You can't do anything super complicated, so definitely don't do like parentheses and powers. It's like for division, multiplication, stuff like that, you're usually good. But yeah, continue.
All right, so I just made this line like really long. It doesn't really matter what this line looks like since it's going to be a construction line and it won't end up in the final sketch. So just double click this, make it. Oh yeah, also you see like it uses a quotation mark for inches, so that also works. Okay, so now I want to change the angle between this and this. First, I'm going to make this vertical part a construction line. So again, escape everything that I have. Press shift and press this vertical line. And then press construction. All right, there we go. So now it's a construction line. And we have it tangent at 90 degrees to the circle. And now we can use that as a reference to move this arm at a certain angle, right? So what we can do there is, let's see, dimension. Oh wait, did I not? Oops. Shift. Construction, okay. Escape. Press dimension on this line, and then this line, and then you see an angle over here. So let's make this angle, I don't know, 135 degrees. Press enter. Okay, so now you see this arm is kind of going up. And so that's, I guess, what we want, right? And we can do the same thing on the other side. But instead of, I guess, doing the whole thing again, we can instead just like mirror it. So let's see, center. escape. Right now I didn't fully constrain this, that's fine. We can use the mirror tool over here. We can select this across the mirror line over here. Press done. Alright, so this is the mirror line. And then this is what I want to apply. There we go. So use the mirror tool and you can just put it on the opposite side. Press done. And there we go. So now we have two arms sticking out on both sides and we use the mirror tool. So a lot of the times if you guys want to use like symmetry, you can use the symmetry constraint or you can use the mirror tool. Both of them work. Alright. Sant, do you want me to cover anything else?
No, I think you did a pretty good job going over a lot of stuff.
Okay, cool. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to ask while I'm still on this.
Yeah, you guys ask Kush any questions right now if you want him to go over any tools.
Okay, cool. Sana, do you want to go over some of the more like advanced features?
Yeah. Okay, guys. So before we go through that, though, I do have a presentation that I'm going to share with you guys today. Let me go ahead and share my screen. Oh, okay. Let me redo that. Can you guys see my screen? Can you guys see my screen now?
We do now, yes.
Okay, yes. Okay, guys, so with design, besides just CAD, which is super important, there's a lot of other stuff that we're going to be covering, like strategy. And the basics of strategy is understanding the different mechanisms that go into the robots that we are going to be building. So we're going to start with the most basic mechanism or part of a robot, and that's going to be a drivetrain. So there are two main types or classifications of drivetrains, rather. They're holonomic drives and tank drives. So holonomic drives give you direct control over all degrees of freedom. So we're talking left and right, front and back, and rotational. And with holonomic drives, you get a lot of increased maneuverability, but it's really complicated in its design and software. So fabricating it and putting it together. And depending on the drivetrain, you could see a decrease in traction and pushing power, which could make it a little bit less good of a defense robot and more prone to other people, pushing it around. So examples of holonomic drivetrains are Mechanim, Crab and Swerve, Omni, and Kiwi. So continuing on, the tank drive is something that you see a lot more. And first, because it allows you to just move forward and backward. But for sideways movement, it's a lot harder, which is sort of a con of it. But the pros is it's really simple to design and program. It's much easier and less complicated for drivers to work with and team members to work with. And also, there's a lot of traction and pushing power. So you can make sure that can get over a lot of things and it can push other robots around if it needs to. So there's a 4-wheel, a 6-wheel, and an 8-wheel. And really there have been 10 wheels in the first before. But generally 4, 6, and 8. 6 and 8 more are what you're going to be seeing. So the tank drive is something that our team has a lot of experience with and something our team does really routinely. So tank drives are very simple code, they're lightweight, and they're high traction. So even from beginner teams to more high-end teams that have regularly gone to the World Championships, you will be seeing tank drives very, very much. And there's a lot of different types of tank drives. And if you guys see like these two images on the bottom here, these two are CAD images. And at some point with experience, you guys will be able to CAD things like this. So yeah, just make sure to keep at it. This is sort of our end goal. So if you have a 4-wheel drive, so just 4 wheels, you don't see any 4-wheel drives here. You don't see them usually that much at first. But if you want to turn and you have a 4-wheel drive, you have to have Omni wheels. And then tank drives really cause you to fishtail on one side. So if you don't have any Omni wheels, it can make it very hard to turn. And if you're doing a 6-wheel drive, which is what you see here, so there's 6 wheels, 3 on each side, for an 8-wheel drive, which you see here with 4 on each side, you have to have a drop center. Drop centers are usually 1/16 inch or 1/8 inch, and it rocks the drivetrain onto 4 wheels. This is a little bit hard to explain right now because even when you build it in real life, it's not very obvious, but we will be showing you guys once we get around to showing you guys how to CAD this. So yeah, those are the 2 major types of drivetrains. Do you guys have any questions so far? Feel free to stop me. Okay. So now mechanism drives. So for mechanism drives, it just centers around this mechanism wheel, and you can see the wheel is a lot more different than a wheel that you might traditionally think of. In a mechanism drive, all of the wheels are parallel, and for every single different wheel that you're using, it requires an independent motor and gearbox, which is also why it can get really expensive and hard to deal with. So mechanism wheels are generally circular with a 45-degree angled rollers around the outside. So when we say easier to program, we mean easier to program relative to other types of drivetrains, but it's definitely a lot more complicated than the tank drive. And there's very little pushing power. Because it's so agile and moves around with such little friction, it's really easy to get pushed around, which is why you almost never see this at first. Okay, so next we have the crab and swerve drive. So the crab and swerve drive, it's called the ultimate drivetrain of FRC because it gives you the maneuverability of a mechanism drive but the power of a tank. So you essentially get the best of both worlds. You can move around super easily, low friction, but also you can move around with a lot of pushing power. And what these consist of are little pods that have the ability to rotate 360 degrees. So they're very agile. And again, pros, highly maneuverable, lots of traction, but the cons, these are definitely much more complex than anything that we talked about earlier. It's pretty hard to manufacture a program. It's really expensive, but sometimes more seasoned teams will choose to do it if they think it's worth it. For example, our team actually just did this in the past year and it was a huge success. But it's definitely not for every single game. So we also have an Omni drivetrain, so this consists of 4 Omni wheels, and sometimes there's a 5th Omni wheel in the center to help with side movement. And it's sort of the midpoint between tank and mechanism, so it's more agile to the tank, it's easier to program, and it has more pushing power than a mechanism drive. So sometimes for this one, it might require extra gearboxes, and it's often outclassed by other drivetrains, so you won't see this used very often either. So butterfly and hybrid drivetrains are basically always overkill. You very rarely see them, but it's basically where they have 2 separate drivetrains, like all connected into one, but they change using pneumatics. So we will not be dealing with this. Our team has never done this before. These are really hard to CAD and design. Very complicated again. So I'm not going to go over it too much in depth, but essentially what it does is in pneumatics, which is sort of like using gas to power stuff, it helps, like sometimes when it's inactive, you can see this Omni wheel isn't touching the ground, but sometimes when you activate it with the pneumatic system, then it'll touch the ground, and it just sort of allows you to switch between like Omni drivetrain, tank drive. So drivetrain manufacturing. So there's a couple of different ways that the drivetrains can actually be built. So we have water jet drivetrains where we water jet, which is a manufacturing technique. We have water jet plates connected to each other using standoffs, which are sort of like metal spacers, you can think of them as. We have sheet metal drivetrains, where sheet metal is cut using a plasma laser, water jet, or CNC mill. So sometimes our team deals with these because we do have a CNC mill ourselves. Hopefully when we go back in person, we'll be showing you guys like a little tour of the fabrication area. And then there's also box tubing or West Coast drive. So this is actually what our team uses more. It uses aluminum bars. It's nice and simple. Manufactured, it's relatively cheaper. And then also there's just the kit of parts chassis where you can buy right off the shelf with everything completely planned for you. Now with motors. So this isn't the most updated motor table. In the past year, a new motor came out that our team likes a lot. The Falcons came out from Vax. So those are really expensive, but they are really nice because they have a lot of power. But some of the other older ones you'll see, The Andy mark, this one is something that we basically don't really use, so you guys don't have to worry about this. For the 775 Pro, this is on the cheaper side and the lighter side. So sometimes if we need to use like a motor for something that's not super intensive, we'll choose to use something like a 775, which we use a lot, or a mini sim. And then for bag motors and sim motors, these are a little bit on the bigger side. They're bigger than the mini sim and the 775 Pro. You can see that they are more like powerful in terms of like for the sim, like the torque is pretty good compared to something like the mini sim or the 775. But for the smaller motors, you also have a lot faster spin speed. So everything just depends on the cost, the application. So you guys will have to know what like a sim motor is, a mini sim, bag motor, and a 775 Pro is. You guys don't need to memorize the specs or anything, but you guys should like know just a ballpark idea of like maybe size, power compared to each other, so on and so forth. So for power transmission, right? Because usually unless we're doing something like a Swerve or a mechanism, we're not going to have one motor for every single wheel. So chain is a really popular method of power transmission. You can see it's here. So for chain, you use little things called sprockets. Sort of hard to explain now, but you guys will definitely see it more once we start catting these things. So the sprockets are the things that hold the chain and help it spin and move things. Chains allow you to transmit power over a greater distance. It's pretty efficient, and it's just like what you see on a bike. So your bikes all have these. For chain, it's really important to have proper tension. So this is something that you need to calculate beforehand. Sprockets are pretty similar to gear keys. So alternatively, you can also use something like a belt. So when we're thinking of belts, you can think of it as a pulley. So it's just like a chain, except when you buy a belt size, you can't change it because it's made out of rubber. So it's not something that you can make a little bit longer or a little bit shorter. And pulleys have teeth that are counted the same way as sprockets or gears. The main benefit to the belt is that it's quiet because this is not made of anything like plastic or metal, it's just rubber. For drivetrains, our team doesn't really use this for long distance transmission. Maybe for small things within the gearbox, we'll use something like this because sprockets are more clunky. But for long distance, definitely belts are not the best way to go. You use sprockets. Okay, guys. So are there any questions? I did just go over a lot of information. Okay. Well, I'm glad you guys don't have any questions. When we're doing our test at the end of the season, you guys will be expected to know that information and that vocab. So if you guys didn't catch it the first time, you guys can go over and watch the recording again, or just ask and email us questions. The terminology is not that hard, and it's okay if you didn't catch on to everything immediately. Me, Drew, Kush, and your other design leads will be using these types of terms a lot. So you'll eventually just pick it up from just being around us enough. Okay.
Are all the recordings on the prospective member page, or is it somewhere else?
Mr. Two.
Yes, they will be posted. All the stuff from yesterday have been posted. Today's should be posted later tonight.
Yeah. So it's all on the prospective member page.
Thank you.
So, today then we will be going over some more advanced stuff in Autodesk Inventor. Can you guys see my screen? Okay. So I think what happens is when I, like you might have seen with Kush a little bit, when we screen share with Autodesk Inventor and Teams, it's a bit laggy. So I'm wondering, can you guys see my screen right now or not?
We don't see your screen right now.
Can you see that I'm trying to screen share?
We don't see it right now.
You guys can see it now, though, right?
Now we do, yes.
Okay, perfect. So I don't think we gave you a really thorough tour of Autodesk last time, guys. So everyone make sure to have your Autodesk open. I'll just go over this briefly so you guys can see my mouse. Here we have new, right? So when you're making a project, you can either just click this or click Control N. So if you hover over stuff in Autodesk, it will tell you the keyboard shortcut if there is one for that particular tab. And sometimes if you hover over it long enough, you will get like a little dialog box that tells you like more specific detail what it is. Like for example, I think if you hover over this one a lot, it will give you more information or something like that. But today we're just going to start off with a part. So what we're going to be making today is something like a more repetitive structure. So I can introduce you guys to, you know, some of the more complicated things that are going on in Autodesk. Okay. So we're going to start by starting a 2D sketch. Again, there's these different planes. It doesn't really matter which one you choose in general. It just like depends on what direction you want your part to eventually be in or what orientation. So that will make more sense tomorrow when we start going over 3D stuff. But for now, you guys can just click XY plane. Okay. So I think something that I generally like making when I'm teaching you guys about this stuff is a nice little box. So I'm going to start off by just doing a rectangle. So click escape and then repaint here. Okay, so I'm going to just make a box. You guys don't have to worry about dimensioning it for now. So the first thing we're going to do is just sort of work our way over here. One of the really big things that you guys will need to learn is trim. So trim is something that we use a decent amount. Trim can be pretty annoying to use sometimes when we're dealing with more complicated stuff because, you know, if you dimension stuff and then you try to trim is going to give you all kinds of errors. But right now, since you guys shouldn't have dimensioned anything, this is going to be pretty nice. So trim is pretty self-explanatory. So if you hover over it, it'll give you a little dialog box, and it shows you in parentheses that the shortcut for that is X. So I can just click X on my keyboard, and you see trim auto selects, even though I didn't click it. And if you just slice here, you can break the different lines off, like that. And then click escape once you're done, and you can see it gives you this really nice shape that you can just play around. Okay. Have this little box here that we just got, right? But this isn't centered at all or anything. So what we're going to do next is we are going to mirror it. And what this is going to do is it's going to give me a really nice shape, I guess. So we're going to make a construction line, so you can click construction first, click line, and then from this point to this point. Okay, go ahead and click escape. Now we have this dotted line here, right? So this is already horizontal. So what sometimes happens is it's going to tell you that sketch constraint already exists. So the reason that this happened is because Autodesk is actually pretty smart. When you're actually like drawing a line like from straight up and down, obviously since your hand is like a tiny bit shaky, the computer can tell that the line isn't exactly straight. But what Autodesk will usually do is it'll autocorrect to make it straight. And in this case, it could tell that Autodesk could tell that I wanted the line horizontal, so it auto-corrected it to be horizontal. So when that happens and I give it an additional horizontal constraint, it's gonna give me this error that says sketch constraint already exists. And if that happens, that's good. Just click cancel, and you can see this line is definitely always gonna be horizontal now. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the mirror tool, and I'm going to show you guys how to use that. So the mirror tool is something that you guys might be using if you want to, you know, simplify things, and it's pretty self-explanatory in terms of what it does. So it just creates a mirrored copy of a sketch across the axis. So you can go ahead and click this. So the first thing that you want to do is select the stuff that you want to mirror. So in this case, I'm going to select these two lines because that's what I want to mirror. And then I'm going to click the mirror line. So that would be this construction line, this axis that I just done. That I just created. I'm going to click apply and click done. Okay, and now you guys can see that these are reflected. So now I have this really interesting shape. So is everyone here? Okay. And this might just look like a normal line. So honestly, with cases this simple, you guys might just be like, oh, why don't you just, go ahead and draw the other line. Something really cool is the mirror line establishes like a semi-permanent relation. Like while the constraint exists, it establishes a relationship between these two. So if I move this up, it moves up, left, right. See, so if I'm doing like lots of adjustments, this is very, very handy. Okay. And let's say I want to make this look even more interesting. So I can go ahead and click offset here. And you can see that it does that. So if I want to offset it, I'm not going to do it right now because it looks a little odd. But that's what you could do. So offset, if you hover over it, there's also a shortcut to it. Usually it's O. Okay. So when we're over here, the main thing that you're just going to be using is offset and trim. So you don't really have to worry about the rest of this stuff right now. And then also for for patterning though, we will be using all of this different stuff. Okay. So let's go next. So this lock tool, what this does is usually when we're trying to hold something in place and not move it at all, we just have to do a lot of dimensions. And dimensioning is always the best way to lock something in place. But if for whatever reason you decide that you want to fix it, you can just click something and permanently lock that in place. So you can see that that can't move at all. But you really never want to be doing this because when we're establishing constraints on stuff, we want it to be in relative to other things that we're sure are right already, because otherwise it can give you a lot of errors. But the tool is there if you need it for a very specific case. But the design things in general, we tell you never use it. Okay, so let's start with patterning. I'm gonna do a really fun pattern. I'm gonna draw a bunch of little squares along here. So the way that I'm gonna do that is do a 2-point triangle. So let's do one here, here. Okay, that's not. You know what? I will do it like this. Okay, so I'll have one here and one here. So you can see this. And now I actually made that construction, so I'm gonna unmake a construction. So you just select it and then make a construction. I can make that a little bigger if I want. And yes, okay, so this is just what I want. And now I want this little box to go all the way along here, all the way along here, and all the way along here, right? So what I could do is go ahead and continue drawing rectangles, but there's a lot of issues with that. It's boring, it's repetitive, and I'll just have to make sure everything is the same size and equally spaced apart, and that's just a headache. So Autodesk makes this a lot easier for us with this rectangular. So what you can do is rectangular pattern allows you to copy the same dimension over a rectangular array. So it arranges it in rows and columns. So rows and columns, that's when you want to use rectangular pattern. So you're going to start off by just selecting the geometry that you want to pattern. And then for direction 1, I want it to go along this way. Okay? And you can see that there's this little arrow here, and what it's doing is it's allowing you to preview what it's going to look like. But that's really not what I want it to look like right now. So what I'm going to do is flip the direction. So I want it to go like this. And I'm going to change this to 0.5. Oh, okay. And if you guys can see, there's a faint outline here of the rectangle. But really, I want it to be even closer than that. So I'll do 0.25. Okay. And then that's good, right? And then the horizontal direction, I want the same thing. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to select this horizontal direction. See, the arrow is pointing this way, but I don't want it to go this way. So I click this little arrow, flip. I want to go this way. And that works for me. So I'm going to go ahead, or maybe I can make this a tiny bit bigger. I didn't mention anything, so it's not going to be very accurate, but it will suffice for our purposes. Go ahead and click OK. And you can see now that I have these 4 boxes, right? And it's patterned really easily. Everything is the same size. And same thing goes for this one. If I make it bigger, everything gets bigger. Pretty handy. Okay, so now let's see. What if I wanted this, but now I want to delete this one specific rectangle? So normally, for a specific geometry, for this one, if I want, or for this line, for example, if I want to delete it, I just select it and click delete, and it's gone, right? Or not, because I decided, for example, if I just drew something, and I wanted to get rid of it, I would just select it and then click delete and it's gone. But for this, you can do something like that. And the reason you can do something like that is because this is a pattern, right? So it's related to this, this box right here. So you can't do something like just delete an isolated piece of it. It's not allowed in Autodesk. So usually in that case, what we'll do is we'll just select it. In this case, we would use a red box because we want to just select the square. And for example, if I don't want that for whatever reason, I would just make it construction to get rid of it. But just know, like, you can't, if you want to delete like this one specific line here, even if you select it, if you click delete, like I'm hitting right now, nothing's going to happen and it's not going to delete because it's related by the pattern. Okay, so if you want to get rid of something, you can usually just click the, you can just usually make a construction. That's what we usually do. So does everything that I just showed you guys make sense? Okay. So now let's practice with circular pattern. So circular pattern is basically the same idea, except instead of doing something like that, it's for a circle. So I'm going to start off with drawing a circle. Okay. And I have this construction, so I'm going to change this back to non-construction. And I'm going to make some little geometries. And we haven't played around with Polygon yet, so let me do that. Let me do like a 10. Okay, that looks good. So I'm going to click Polygon. I'm going to click a point on circle, and I'm going to draw something. Make this a little bit bigger. Okay, done. So now you see I have this 10-sided polygon. That's really nice. And I want to have a bunch of 10-sided polygons around here. So this is where I click circular. I would, no, I don't want to do. You use the red box in this case to select the geometry. Geometry selected. Axis is this. And you can see it's just sort of going around. So in this case you can flip it, but it doesn't make too much of a difference because we have 360 degrees. But if you only wanted to go around half the circle, then you just click 180, right? And I can choose so I want to go on this half of the circle or this half of the circle. Okay, and then you can also choose to increase it. So instead of like 6, if I want like 10 geometries and have a bunch of stuff really, really cramped, then you can see we have that. And then you can click OK, and you see now I have a bunch of circles. And yeah, so they don't have anything constrained. And then if I choose to make this bigger, like for example, if I dimension this, instead of 0.4, maybe if I wanted to make it 0.5, make it bigger, click enter, and you can see everything just went like way bigger. Okay, so that is the circular. You guys will be using rectangular and circular a lot, especially when we get into more complicated stuff such as gearboxes. But for now, this is basically just a general idea of what we will be doing. So that's sort of. And then I think Dhruv and Kush both did a really good job of explaining all of this stuff to you. And if you guys don't know or you forget what it is, just hover over it and I'll tell you about it. So in terms of tools now, I'm going to start showing you some stuff that's not just a sketch. So since we're in like sketch, this is 2D, right? You don't really want to click 3D model because you're not going to really be able to do much for now. So something that you can do though is go to tools. So for tools, you can change a lot of different stuff. The main tool that we're going to be using is this measure, so the shortcut's M. So if I don't know how big my circle is, I can just click this. And then it'll tell me, oh, it's 5.87 inches in diameter. The radius, the length, the angle, so on and so forth. Or like if I forget this, if I want to figure out how big this line is, I just click the line, tell me it's exactly half an inch. So you guys might be using this occasionally. And then for other stuff like collaborate, get started, we're not going to really be using these too much. Even though I might show you guys how to do this one later. And then for view, you can choose the Visual Style. For these little like cubes and this little toolbar, sometimes you might accidentally click the X, or you might like not like this cube at all, and you might think it's really annoying. So if you want to change that, what you would do is just go to the user interface, and you can just click or unclick. So like if I unclick the view bar, you can see it disappear right there. Or like the navigation bar, if I want that to disappear, or if I want to add the mini toolbar, you know. So it gives you a lot of different options. Okay. So there we have it. And those are some of the more complicated tools in Sketch. So I'm going to go ahead and finish Sketch. And yeah, you guys can see that. And then if you click home, and then for this, you know, you can just pull around here. You can click corners, you can click flat sides, click home, and then if you want to customize it, so instead of going home every single time to this angle, if you want home to go to this angle, you can just right click, set current view as home. I usually choose fit to view, or you can do set current view as top or front, or however you want to customize your box. Okay, do you guys have any questions? Okay, sounds good. So I'm just going to tell you guys, we're not going to end right now, but I am going to tell you guys what your homework is right now. So make sure to take note of it. So your homework for today is to make something sort of like a, sort of like a wreath, I guess you can think of it. You know, when you're doing like circular, like for Christmas wreaths, they're circular and they have like a lot of patterns going on, like ornaments or something. You guys should just try to make one of those and show it to us. There aren't any requirements in terms of exactly what it should look like, but just try to put some effort into it so we can really see how much you know and how much you don't know. So if need be, we can go back and do some review tomorrow if you guys really aren't understanding what's going on. And we'll be able to see where you guys are. So you guys can feel free to do a wreath. The wreath is really loose definition. I just want to see something circular that's patterned that looks like it could be a decoration, so it also looks sort of aesthetically pleasing. Play around with different. There are a couple of requirements. The first thing is you have to have 3 different types of geometries. So you can't just have like circles. You have to have like circles and squares and polygons and triangles. You want to have at least 3 different types of geometries. I'm gonna actually type this into the chat so you guys can like save this for later. So the first thing is you want to have 3 different types of geometry. Okay. And then the second thing that you want to have is you want to use construction lines. Okay. And then also for 3, you want to use rectangular and circular pattern. And then before, you have to make sure that your you want to make sure that you're like dimensioning everything properly. So when we open up your sketch, it shouldn't be like really like in the demo that I showed you it was purple, but you don't want to be using that. You want to have everything like black, so you want to dimension everything. So like nothing can move. And then also I want to see you guys either use mirror or the cut, like the trim tool that I showed you. Those are your 5 requirements. Oops. So those are your 5 requirements, guys, so make sure to save it. And then, yes. Okay, so I'm gonna go over a couple more things. So while I'm doing that, Drew, if you want to go ahead and get GrabCAD set up in the background so they can submit their homework on there.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, yeah, so Drew will get that set up. So just to give you guys a rundown of what we're going to be doing tomorrow. Tomorrow we're just going to be doing a lot of like 3D stuff. So you guys will be playing around with how to translate these sketches that you've been working with into something that's 3D, that looks like a part, and how to customize how to customize the part, how to customize what it looks like, whether it be with something like you know, changing the material, changing the color, changing the finish, stuff like that. So we'll be going over that tomorrow, and that will just sort of be our main thing. And then I just want to remind you guys again, on Friday we will be doing a test, so make sure that you guys are ready for that, and you guys, you know, are prepared a little bit, for that. And make sure, obviously, to look over any past recordings in case you aren't really sure with a particular like piece of anything, so on and so forth. Okay. So I think one last thing that I want to show you guys how to do today is with this. So can you guys see my screen? Okay. So there's something that most of the tools that we use in Sketch you can actually also see in you can also see them in 3D. So you see a lot of crossover between the two. So okay, let me just check who we have. Wow, we don't have too many people at the moment. So we have okay. So you guys can see on my screen here that we have the Fillet Tool. So can you guys see that? Yeah? Okay. So I'll just show you guys some fun things that we can do. So with Autodesk Inventor, it allows you to do stuff like here. So this little, you really will basically never be using fillet, text, and point in the context of our team, but I'll just show you guys what they are. So if you look closely here, you can see how like this edge is like pointy, right? So in real life, a lot of times pointy edges are really hard. So what you can do is you can do a 2D fillet, so between this line. Okay, so for the fillet, what you can do here is you can change how much. Let me just do 0.1. Okay. So for fillet, you click this, and you can click the two. Okay. Okay, my things are bugging out. So I'll show you guys how to use text first. So for text, what it does is if you want to like engrave something like hi, but obviously you don't want to go through the time of making a bunch of rectangles to construct H and make a bunch of rectangles to construct I. What you can do is you can just use this. So it's the text tool right here, and you can change a bunch of parameters. You can change the font. They have a bunch of stuff. So let me just do something like Ravy. I have no idea what that looks like, but we'll see. I can change the alignment. Maybe I want it to be actually, let me just do Technic. So I'll do high. I can make the size like 0.5. 0.5 maybe actually. Click OK. And you can see, oh, look, that's what it looks like, right? So I didn't have to go through all the effort of, changing everything. This is just what I can just use this to really easily make text. So sometimes we might ask you to do this, and generally you're not going to have to. Okay, and then for point, this just makes points everywhere. Sometimes people use this when you're trying to make holes, but usually when we're making holes on our team, we choose to not use point. We'll just draw circles. What else you can do is the fillet. So let me do it on something like this. Okay, so for fillet, let's choose this line and this line. And you can see what it did. It did a 0.1 inch fillet, and it just rounded everything out. Rounded everything out. And you guys can see why this might be handy in the like when you're doing robotics, right? Because sometimes you can't really deal with super sharp edges. So that's another really cool tool we have here. Okay, so that's sort of what that looks like. Okay, so now to put everything together, we will do, okay, so what I just showed over there was sort of like teaching, but now we can just do like a live catalog, I guess you would say. So Kush, do you want to do a live catalog to just sort of show them like basically all the stuff that I did again, but maybe like more fast to see if they can keep up and they understand everything?
Sure. Give me 1 second.
Yeah, yeah. But I'm leaving this like time right now open to you guys for questions. Do you guys have any questions about anything? Anything that you guys want to know?
Simon, do you have like everyone's emails?
Say that again.
Do you have everyone's emails? Because like to invite them to the workbench.
Did you invite me already?
No, sure. Yeah, I'll do that.
Okay. Yeah. So after Kush shows you that live catalog, then we will, you know, we'll invite you to the GrabCAD, and then we can talk about GrabCAD a little.
Can you guys see this?
Yeah, we can see it.
Alright, cool. So first we'll do, let's make a sketch, new sketch, start 2D sketch.
Wait,
and
Kush, do you know why your mic might be a little static compared to how it was earlier?
no clue. Hold on, maybe, okay, let me try something. Is it better now?
Very slightly.
Okay. Is it like a big problem or like?
We can understand what you're saying, it's just a little buzzy. You can just continue.
Okay, cool. So, okay, so first I started off to make my 2D sketch, and I'll pick a plane to do the CADing on. Then let's see. Let's, I don't know, make rectangle. It's like this, 2, 1, enter. Alright, so you see this is fully constrained. I guess, I don't know. Let's, okay, let me add, like, I don't know, maybe another rectangle, or like, so let's create rectangle, let's go this, let's go 1, tab 0.5, enter, let's constrain using this, let's constrain it to here. Alright, and now let's say I want to maybe, I don't know, mirror this across the bottom face of this larger rectangle. So let's go mirror, pattern. Alright, so first I want to select what I want to mirror. So I want to select all of this, and then the mirror line, which is going to be this, and then apply. So now you see how it kind of reflected across the mirror line. That's done. So I guess that's the mirror. Let me see if I can do circular pattern. So let's press escape. Let's do this. Let's press delete. Create, I don't know. Let's create a circle. Doesn't really matter how much. Let's go 3. Press enter. And then let's say I want to create, no, a circle on here. Let me just, maybe select a point. Go here. Let's make this 0.75 inches in diameter. And let's see. Let's say I want to do a circular pattern with this. Let's do circular pattern. Let's select this, which I want to do, cross axis, which is this. Alright, cool. And then let's say I want to do 10. Let's only do it for 270 degrees. Alright, press OK, and there you go. Son, is there anything else you want me to go over?
You can show them how to like cut stuff up and trim stuff. Maybe again.
Okay. Okay, so let's go here to modify. Let's go trim. I don't know. Let's. Where do I want to trim? Maybe. Oh, wait, what? Didn't help me. Okay, let me create the pattern really quick. 1 second. Let's just do 10. 270. Alright, let's say I want to trim. Wait, Sonnet, is this how you wanted me to do it, or did you, like, want me to do it another way?
It's fine, whatever you think is best. Yeah, Kush, you're trimming right now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you might have a little bit of a hard time because you dimensioned everything.
Oh.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about last time.
Okay, it's fine. It's alright if I don't show that.
Yeah, it's fine.
Alright.
Yeah,
So
okay. When Kush is like showing you guys stuff, this is just to make sure everything goes into your head and really sticks there because it's easy to forget these things. You guys really should be unmuting and asking a lot of questions if you have any. Wait, Kush, are you talking?
No, I'm not saying anything.
Okay, yeah, I just wanted to make sure that it wasn't your mic.
Alright, is there anything else?
No. Okay, so I am going to start adding you guys to GrabCAD. So just by show of hands, can you raise your hand if you made a GrabCAD account? Okay, yeah, that sounds good. So for those of you guys who haven't made a GrabCAD account yet, can you guys go on GrabCAD right now? So just GRABCAD, so GrabCAD, and make an account right now. And make it with the account that you, yeah, make it with the account that you, like gave us your email for. So what we're gonna do today is I'm gonna add you guys to GrabCAD, show you guys how to use it, and then Drew will be showing you guys a PowerPoint. So yes, and then keep your hands up if you're done. Actually, how everyone who doesn't have a GrabCAD account, raise your hand, and then once you make your GrabCAD account, lower it so that I know when you guys are done. So this is not like half as complicated as downloading Autodesk Commander, so you guys should be able to do it pretty fast. Yeah, hands up before you've made it, and lower your hand once you're done. Yeah, so for Sanjin, since you already had an account but you forgot your password, you can just like do it on a separate email, honestly, if you have one, and then just send me the new email, that's fine too. Yes, so GrabCAD, like we briefly mentioned yesterday, GrabCAD is something that we're going to be using to, yeah, we're going to be using it to, like share the homework and stuff. And also, Drew, I think you added the wrong email. You need to do sonnet.xu@gmail.com.
Okay, let me change that.
Yeah. Yeah, but we'll be using it. It's a great platform for sharing software. Okay, so the only people who don't have GrabCAD yet are Mahima, Manov, and Ashmit, and then everyone else, or now just Ashmit and Mahima. So Arnav, Sanjay, I mean not Sanjay, but like Arnav, Vivaan, you guys all have GrabCAD.
And what was your email? Sonnet.xu.
Yeah, .xu at gmail.com.
Sonnet, for the role, we put student, right?
Sure.
Okay.
Okay. Okay.
You want me to wait or for the presentation or just?
Yeah, wait, give me a moment to add all of them to GrabCAD because I want to show them how GrabCAD sort of works first.
Alright, cool.
Yeah. So let's get GrabCAD up. Okay. So Mahima, you're the only one who doesn't have an account. So everyone else, like Arnav, do you have an account?
Yeah, I have one.
Okay, so I will be using the I'll be using the email that you guys like put in the attendance form. So make sure that that's the right one that we have here. Okay, so design attendance. So I will be sending out the. Were any of you guys not here yesterday? Maybe. So I don't have your emails. Were all of you guys here yesterday? Okay, I'm assuming all of you guys were here yesterday. Perfect. Drew, you just added me as a collaborator. I need to be a project owner.
Check now.
Perfect. Okay, so we will be adding you to 2021. Okay, so I'll be sending all of you email. So I just sent invites to all of you. Oh my goodness. Wait, for this, you have to do it manually, like one by one, Drew?
Yeah, you have to like put in each email. You don't have to like keep hitting add. You just like add all the emails at once.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, because I don't think I can add them all at once. Okay, I'm gonna start adding you guys. Let me see. So I'll be slowly adding you guys in then, I guess. This is it. Okay. Okay, never mind. Wait, Kush. You're there, right? Yeah. I just added you to the GrabCAD workspace. Can you go through and slowly add people in while me and Drew are talking?
Sure.
Wait, before that though, I have to make you a project owner. Oh wait, Kush, you have an account, right?
Yeah.
And it's Kush, PARIKH5@gmail.com.
Yep.
Okay, yeah. Okay, yeah. So just slowly add people in through the attendance sheet. Okay, and then while we're doing GrabCAD, we'll talk about that toward the end, and then yeah. Do you want Drew? Do you want to go ahead and get your slideshow started?
Yeah. Nice.
So what Drew is going to be going over is something that we did last year because in light of the pandemic, we couldn't really do like a traditional design season. So this is sort of what some of the veterans worked on last year. And Drew is just going to be sharing that with you guys. And that's sort of our segue into like strategy, which is a huge part of design. But that's but for bootcamp, we're going to be focusing primarily on CAD. But strategy is something we're going to be working on a lot more throughout the year. And then briefly for Sanjin, yeah, I'm not really sure why you've been deactivated. I guess you can just stay on after and we can screen share talk. Okay, but Drew, go ahead.
Yeah. So basically, like generally our team focuses on like the engineering side focuses on building a robot that has to play a game, right? But like last year because of COVID, because everything was virtual, we couldn't actually, even if we designed a robot, we couldn't actually build it or play a game because we couldn't be in person. So instead, the challenge was to create a game. So if you guys see over here, this is like 2019's game, Deep Space. And you guys can see, if you guys haven't seen an FRC game field before, there are like 3 robots on each side which form an alliance, right? And then within a given time frame, they have to complete certain tasks. So in this case, it was placing balls and discs around these rocket ships, right? So the more balls you put in or the more discs you put in, the more points you get. So yeah, so like you have to design a robot to complete those tasks, right? But in last year's case, instead of designing a robot that can play this game, we had to make a new game that could potentially be played by other FRC teams, right? So if we go over here, this is the game that we created. The size of the field will look similar to the deep space one that I just showed you guys, but there will be robots, 3 robots lined up on each side, and they would have to finish tasks. In this case, what we did was there are these like frisbee type shapes that you have to place on the triangles over here. You have to collect them from this. Okay, I think I'm skipping around too much, but basically how it worked was 3 robots started this initiation line over here, and when the timer started, they would pick up game pieces from wherever they're hung, and they would place them on these triangle rock walls, so to score points, right? And at the end of the game, they would climb these ladders as an end game, and that would also earn them points. So you would add up all these points, and whoever had the most would be the winner of the game. So last year we focused on making the actual game instead of creating a robot to play the game. So this presentation was our way of showing the judges of what we created. So we kind of detailed every aspect of the game that was important to the uniqueness of it. So these are the game pieces that we use. So this is what the teams will have to carry around the field, will have to collect from where they're stored and score them on the rock walls. This is the rock wall itself, so you guys can see that the highlighted pegs are the ones where you would place these game pieces, and for each one that you place, you would score points. And this is it goes more in depth into the rock wall itself. If you guys saw back here between the rock walls, we added what we call the wiggle bridge which was like a neutral zone. So, which I guess I should explain too. So, you guys see how the different colors for these rock walls, they kind of have a meaning. So if you have 2 alliances, one of them will be the red alliance and one of them will be the blue alliance, right? So the blue alliance will score on the blue side and the red alliance would score on the red side. So if you guys can see, the wiggle bridge is actually not blue or red, so it's a neutral zone. So anyone can pick up or score pieces over here. Then this was the center structure. It was like in the center of the field. How this works is these doors, they move up and down using this like chain pulley system over here. So one robot will have to pull up the door while the other goes in and captures the game pieces that are stored inside. And so that's during the game, right? And at the end of the game, if you see these ladders, the robots will come here at the end of the game and climb up them. And for each rung that you climb, you get a certain amount of points. These are the chains that we use. So if you guys see the chains that the chain was like a key element in our game, because if you see the ladders, they're also made of chains. The chain pulley system is made of chains. So a lot of the game kind of revolved around chains. So that we have to include that too. This goes over the ladders that they had to climb during the end game. This was located at the sides, so over here and over here. So that was one main area where the robots would collect game pieces. So how it worked was human players would be behind the wall, and using this barter station and toy chest, they would place the game pieces from their side, flip this lever and to bring it to the inside of the game field so the robots can pick it up. So this was just like an intake for the game pieces. And here's a little video that we created as a video animation. This is actually Varun. He graduated last year. He kind of narrated the video. Tell me if you guys can hear the audio for this. Oh, oh, okay, I can find the video later, that's fine. We also had to not just create the model for the game that we were going to make, but we also had to make the rules and the regulations that go along with every FRC game. So along with that came the point system. So for each action that the robot had to do, we assigned it a certain number of points. And if it was created, if it was done in the autonomous time period, it would get a certain number of points. If it was done in the teleoperated period, it would get a certain number of points. We won't go into the detail too much because we're just going through what we have to do. But there are also ranking points. So we'll cover all of this later. But along with game points, which are the normal points that you score during the game, you can also get ranking points, which are used in the overall tournament to rank you to other robots. So we had to also decide on what tasks the robots will do for them to achieve these ranking points. And then another segment that we added was how when a potential robot is playing this game, what strategy should they focus on? What is prospective idea that they could follow through on? So we focused on how this is a game that relies heavily on alliance, like teamwork with the alliances. We also said that balancing time was a big factor in this game. So we had to like list out game strategies that if somebody actually played this game, what game strategies would they use? And yeah, so this is the presentation we kind of used with the judges. So the presenters were like me, Akul, Rishi, and Mahima, and Sonnet. And we kind of walked them through the game, explained each game piece and what's the significance of everything that's on the field. So if you guys see, like, this is our main field, and we kind of break it down into parts and tell them what's the significance of everything. And then we kind of went over the rules and logistics of the points and ranking points, and then what possible strategies we can do. So this is not what we'll do this year, hopefully. Because of COVID, because we couldn't actually build a robot, we had to make a game instead. But hopefully for this season, we can go back to building a robot. But yeah. Any questions? That was kind of like an odd year, so like I don't think we'll have to repeat that again. But yeah. Sana, is everyone added to their graph pad?
I think
Krish, did you get everyone added?
For some reason, it says my account is also deactivated. I sent Sonnet a message on Slack. Check that.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Yeah, my notifications are really broke right now. I don't know why everyone's account is deactivated. Let me think about this.
Wait, I have a question. How do we know if we've been added or not? Like, will we get an email about it, or is it in the GrabCAD groups thing?
You will get an email.
Okay.
How about me and Drew will troubleshoot today, and we'll talk to you guys tomorrow, because if most of you guys are having issues with deactivated accounts, that's not good. Yeah, that's really odd. I don't know what that would be. Do you guys just make the account recently, or is it super old?
Who are you talking to? Mahima?
No cushions, like for you guys.
No, personally, mine was pretty old. Like, I don't know why I'm deactivated.
Yeah. We'll work this out tomorrow. We'll figure this out. Okay.
So you want to go over with the homework again?
Yeah. Is everyone clear on what expectations are for homework? Okay, yeah, I'll take that as a yes. So I think that's all the content that we were planning on going over today. And then tomorrow we will, like we said, go over the 3D sketch. Like, not 3D sketch. We will be doing like more 3D stuff, translating sketch from 2D to 3D. Okay, guys?
You guys have any questions?
Yeah, so I think that's all from me today. Drew and Kush, do you guys have anything to add?
No, I'm good.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So you guys are free to go. Stay behind if you have a question. Sanjin, I think since you and Kush are having the same issue, me and Drew will both troubleshoot today, and then we'll get back to you guys tomorrow. So you don't have to stay behind, because I think probably more than just you two are having issues. But yeah, you guys are all free to go. Bye.
Hey, Kush, are you still on?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, you know, your